Hello, hope you guys are doing okay. And I'm going to make a couple of videos, talk to you about leadership and what we're looking for as far as leadership in our program. So let's start off by defining leadership. I want you to take the time, pause if you need to pause this, grab something to write with, take notes. This is going to be some information that's going to be vital to your audition process. So let's start. Now, first, we have the definition of leadership. So, here's a definition of leadership. Now, this isn't the only definition, but here's what we look for in our program. The quality of influencing others which causes them to 1. Listen to you and agree on common goals, 2. Follow you and your advice, and 3. Go into action towards these goals. Now, out of all these goals, 1 and 2 can be pretty easy. You know, if you think about it. The third one is the hardest. Go into action towards these goals. So the hardest part of being a leader is actually making these things happen. We can say we want to lead. We can prepare to lead, but actually putting them into form and putting them into action. That's the hardest thing. So think about that as you ponder on what a leader is in our program. So the purpose of leadership. Now, it's very important for our program in order for it to grow and thrive that we have great leadership in place. The purpose of leadership is as follows: to help people achieve what they are capable of, to establish a vision for the future. That could be goal setting. It would be great for you to jot down, create a goal sheet, and write down a list of goals that you have, not just pertaining to band, but just in general. Next, to encourage, to coach, and to mentor. And finally, to establish and maintain successful relationships. So these are some of the purposes that we use for our leadership in our program. So if you are kind of in question, so what are some qualities that leaders have? Here's a couple of qualities that we look for in a leader. So everyone has the potential of being a leader every day. This is determined by success. There is no one correct way to lead. Leaders come in many personality types: loud or quiet, boisterous or shy, tough or gentle, or funny or serious. You need to think about what personality traits you have. And like I said, there's not just one correct way to lead. There's people who lead sometimes through humor. There's people who are really serious about what they're doing. There's people who are, there's sometimes people who are just, out there in your face, and there's some people who are kind of shy about it. There's people that are tough, and there's people that are gentle. So think about who you are and the qualities that you have in developing your leadership. Next, leadership techniques that work best for you are the ones that you nurture inside. Just take some time, think about that comment, and on a side note to your goal sheets, just kind of write down what is your purpose as far as being a leader. What can you develop and what can you nurture and make grow? Those are some really important techniques, I think, that a leader should have. Next, don't try to imitate others. We've all had great leaders in our past and in our present. You need to think about the qualities that you like about those leaders and the qualities that you don't like about those leaders. It doesn't mean just because you're coming into position, any position that we have, that you have to imitate what was being done in the past. Every day is a new day. And so a leader is going to be able to adapt and make changes that are needed and that are good for the program. So just kind of remember those things. Next, ask yourself, what personal qualities do I possess that can be turned into qualities of leadership? Are you naturally enthusiastic? Do you possess humility? Are you persistent? Do you have a good imagination? What's your attitude like? Do you have a positive attitude every day? Do you have strong values? Are you patient? Those are just a couple of the qualities that you might possess that can be nurtured into great leadership. Next, actions speak more powerful than words. Don't have to really say a whole lot about that. You guys understand that statement very well. Now, the final thing is to establish standards and to stick to them. It's easier said than done, but it's very important that one of the qualities of a leader that you establish your standards and you stick to them. There's going to be times where your standards and your leadership skills will be tested, and so the important thing is that you stick with the things that you kind of have set in place. Doesn't mean you can adapt, but it's really important that you have some establishment there. So, in closing, I want to talk to you a little bit about about what I've endured and things that I've seen. I think I can sum it up with something that I heard from a workshop given by Dr. Tim, who's an incredible speaker on leadership and student leadership. So he says, a good leader will do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether he or she wants to do it or not, without being asked. So you got to think about that. A good leader is going to be able to do those things. What needs to be done. When does it need to be done by? Is there deadlines? Are we, is it something that we need to put off, or is it something that we need to immediately do? And ultimately, someone who, I think a good leader is going to be someone who does these things without being asked. So there's things that we want to do, basically, and there's things that we don't want to do. There's things that we're excited and ready for, and then there's things that we're like, maybe we can get to that later. A good leader is going to take on, basically take the bull by the horns and get it done. And you're going to do this a lot of times without being asked. And so those are things that we look for. Do you take the initiative to help clean the band hall, or to help underclassmen with their music? So those are some of the qualities and some of the things that we look for as far as leadership goes. So just to sum things up, know the definition of leadership, know the purpose of leadership, and finally, the qualities of leadership. I hope this helps you, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in the audition process.